Thank you so much for joining the webinar today. We will try to make this webinar as interactive as possible. And let's go ahead and get started. Today, with me, I have a lot of members from the consortium, mostly from the communication team, Mona and Blanca, from the business support services, Alberto, and from the clinical partners, almost from all participants. So feel free to ask any questions you may have. Today, we are covering in detail a lot of questions that have been raised in relation with CE marking, TRL, and integration with COVID SANDBOX. So feel free to interrupt and ask questions whenever you need to. So having said that, COVIDX is a project funded on one of the emergency calls to fight the pandemic. And as you know, these numbers are already outdated. We didn't update them, sorry, but the pandemic, you all know the status of the world in this. Our mission in COVIDX is to bridge the gap between technology providers and healthcare providers by supporting data-driven solutions to fight the pandemic. We want to unlock the full capacity of the artificial intelligence and data technologies to overcome clinical challenges. In a nutshell, we defined 3 areas with each one with 2 concrete challenges on each one. So early detection, innovative diagnostics in the area of diagnostics, prognosis, personalized care and remote care, and follow-up, healthcare continuity and recovery. These challenges are thoroughly described in the website, in the guideline for applicants. And for the single solutions, only 4 of them are open, but team solutions can apply to all of these challenges. So what we offer in the program, financial support, I will cover that, market acceleration program, and access to the COVID SANDBOX. Alberto will provide the market acceleration, or will cover the market acceleration program. And we have another webinar, which was, the recording is available, mostly with clarification of what the COVID SANDBOX is, the services that they provide, and how you can integrate with it. In terms of financial support for third parties, our goal in this call is to fund 7 single solutions with 1,000 euros for each SME, and the single solutions will partner with our clinical partners of the project. We will see them in a moment. And we want to fund 7 team solutions where the applications are made by a consortium of technology provider and an healthcare partner. What we want to fund is validate in real world clinical sites the solutions that you are applying with. For this, if your solution is in the scope of a medical device regulation, you will need to have or be close to achieve CE marking, but more on this later. So the single players, again, that we will fund with 1,000 euros must be SMEs providing data solutions to fight COVID-19, and they will partner with one of our clinical partners. So Istituto Clinico Humanitas of Milan, Italy, Hospital Clínico San Carlos from Madrid, Spain, and Karolinska Institute from Sweden. And we have here in the call people from Humanitas and SEMAS. For the team players, we will fund with 150,000 euros, being 100 euros for the SME and 50,000 euros for the healthcare provider. And what we are looking at is, again, the SMEs must be, the technological providers must be SMEs, but the clinical partners can be any institution that provides healthcare services to the population. So in our concept, we will accept hospitals, clinics, primary care centers, these are obvious, but also telehealth operators and assisting living facilities. If you have other types of institutions, as long as they provide healthcare to the population, we can accommodate them in considering that they are healthcare providers. But in this scope, or not additionally, if you have any other issue or any other challenge related with COVID that is not defined in one of our 6 challenges, feel free to propose it. And as long as it's a data-driven solution in the scope of all the rest of the constraints of the program, we will of course consider the solution. Some of the teams applied for Open Call 1, and we must highlight the differences between Open Call 1 and Open Call 2. In Open Call 2, we have a 2-phase application, which means that first the teams need to make a small application, and we will invite 21 team solutions and 21 single solutions to move to the next phase. In relation again with the differences with the first open call, we clarified TRL and CE marking requirements, and for your convenience and also for our convenience, we have strict page limits in the technical annex. For the first round, the technical annex needs to be of 10 pages maximum. This is the process that we have now. So phase 1 applications are open until July 22nd, next week at 5 p.m. CET. After that, we will perform a number of tasks. So the first one is the eligibility check. Make sure that you are indeed SMEs, all the documents are properly submitted and signed. And then we proceed with an internal evaluation. The internal evaluation committee is composed of experts from different members of the consortium, and we will provide feedback until August 6th. After this, either you are in the top 21 of each team and get an invitation to submit the phase 2 application, or of course, if you are not in the top, you will be notified of the ranking and feedback for your proposal. Then the applications for phase 2 will start in August 7 and will go until September 16, again at 5 p.m. Central European Time. Immediately after the submission, the proposals will be sent for the external experts for evaluation. Then we will perform the ranking and selection, and we will invite 40 teams or 40 proposals on single and team solutions to go to an online interview where we will select 7 of each to be funded and enroll in the program. Just a quick note, these are indicative numbers, so this is our goal. But if we find a huge difference in quality in terms of team solutions and single solutions, we may adapt the number of funded projects. If you need further clarification, we will follow strictly the process available in the guide for applicants. So if you have any doubt, just read it and then come back to us. And I will address now the 2 major questions that have been raised. So the TRL 7 plus requirement and the CE marking. Okay, so both of these definitions are clarified in the guideline for applicants. In terms of TRL, there is a table in the guideline for applicants where our concept based on the best practice from industry is clearly stated, what we consider to be at each TRL. What we ask you is to clearly justify the claims in terms of readiness level of your product. So later we can go through the guideline or through the technical annex and clarify any questions you may have. In terms of CE marking, this is a requirement from the call of the Commission. You need to be in the process or already have or be in the process to have CE marking. Again, we ask you to be clear if, one, your product is in the scope of the medical device direct regulation. If not, clearly justify that and be clear on that. In terms of the integration with the SANDBOX, it is mandatory for all teams to integrate with the COVID SANDBOX. You have plenty of information on the APIs available, on the data sets. And what we ask you in this call is to be clear on how you will achieve the integration with the SANDBOX in the time frame that we are asking in the program. So we have 2 pages for you to clarify the technical work that you will do, but also the business work. So this is only a high-level plan, but we need to understand how and when you will integrate with the COVID SANDBOX. These were the main issues that were found on the first open call. Okay, so the TRLs of a lot of proposals were not in the scope of the call. We have clarified these in the guideline for applicants, and we have reserved 1 page in the technical annex for you to describe and justify the readiness level of your solution. The CE marking, UE marking, not properly addressed by many applicants. Okay, we have clarified these concepts, and we provide links to the guidance documents by the European Commission. So we will follow the guidance documents to the letter. Okay, so if you think that your solution is not in the scope of the medical device regulation, be clear on the reasons you think that your solution is not a medical device software. But again, follow the guidelines and justify it. So it's clearly not enough to say our solution is a software, so it does not need EU or marking. That's not the way to go, because it's not correct stating that software is not a medical device. And again be clear on the integration with the COVID SANDBOX. We have clearly stated 3 phases for integration, so please address them properly in the guideline for applicant or in the technical annex. Now I will give the floor to Alberto to explain what you provide in the market acceleration program.
Hi everyone. Antonio, I'm not able to switch on my camera. I don't have permissions.
You don't? Sorry.
No.
But you should.
But I can do it anyway.
Sorry. I cannot give you that now.
Okay, no worries. So thank you very much to everyone for being here today. My name is Alberto Sierra, and I'm head of European project at Bosonic, which is an innovation and technology consultancy firm based in Spain. Within the COVID-X program, we are the leaders of the entire acceleration program, which comprises not only the financial support that Antonio has already mentioned, but also the technical, business, and pilot support. So mainly the idea is that once you have been, once your proposal has been, let's say, approved by the experts, you will be entering into the market acceleration in the COVID-X acceleration program, and that will follow a sprints approach and will last around 10 months. The idea is to give you the tools to fast track your innovation and be faster and quicker in the market. Next slide, please.
Alberto, so actually, I think you can share the camera now.
Yes, now it works. Hello, everyone. So now, how does the program works actually? So during the first month of the program, which is called M0, we will ask you to provide us more information about your current maturity of your startup, your, which are your needs, what are your, let's say, weaknesses, and so on. And so the idea is to, let's say, tailor-make the program as much as possible to your needs. So during this period as well, we will provide you with more information about the COVID-X SANDBOX. We will provide you with some technical webinars in which you will have more access to specific information and concrete information on how to integrate your solution with the SANDBOX. And you will have also time for the signature of your sub-grant agreement and everything related with this administrative process. Then we have divided the entire program in 3 different sprints. Each of the sprints has a duration of 3 months. And basically what we have set in both the guidelines for applicants and in this slide is that we will have specific goals for each of the sprints. So basically for the first sprint, we have said that you will need to have your kind of KPIs definition in which we will use for monitoring your project and monitoring the work that you perform during the whole period of the program. Then you will need to have the integration of your solution with the SANDBOX, and you will need to get the approval of your clinical partner in terms of the ethical issues related with the use of the data and so on. Then for the second sprint, you will need to validate your data model. You will need to have the agreement on the API with your clinical partner, and then we will follow, or you will need to achieve the specific goals that you set in your proposal. And finally, in the third sprint, also thanks to the tools that we will provide you and the trainings that we will provide you, you will need to complete your feasibility study, and you will need to, let's say, complete the specific goals that you have set in your proposal. Next slide, please. And now going into the different support that we will provide. So we have divided it in 4 different categories, being the financial support, the first one that has been already explained. And then we have the business, technical, and pilot support. So what is in for your startup in terms of business support? So once you have been, let's say, entering into the program, you will have, you will enter into the mentoring program provided by Civita. This will consist of different trainings in different business-related topics that will help you to better define your business model, your product roadmap, and all the things that you need to have in mind for related to the business part. And at the end of the program, the idea is to give you a business roadmap in which we will make some recommendations for the future. This roadmap and this business roadmap will be a document that will be somehow worked between your business mentor and your team. And you will need to, let's say, provide some homework or make some homework for defining better this roadmap. Also, in terms of business support, you will have some demo days and workshops that will be defined in different topics, and you will have some inspirational talks provided by somehow experts in different files related with the business part. Next slide, please. In terms of technical and technology support, as mentioned, you will have some webinars in terms of the technical support with regard to the integration with the SANDBOX, and we will also provide 3 different data-related courses for improving the skills of your team. Also, if it is needed and under request, we will provide you with some one-to-one support sessions in which we will put you in contact with some mentors regarding specific technologies that are applying to your company. Actually, you have at the bottom of this slide the information of the technical webinar that we performed 3 weeks ago. The links the links will be published in the chat box, but mainly you can watch all the videos and the technical information in our YouTube channel. And for the pilot support for the single solutions, you will have a dedicated place to try and make the pilot. So it will be inside the premises of our clinical partners. And for the team solutions, what you will receive is a tailor-made support from our clinical partner responsible for making the monitoring of your solution. And you will have also one-to-one support sessions if needed. For all of you that want to apply as a single solution, you have in this other webinar the information or a presentation of all our clinical partners. So you will have more information about who they are and what they do. And also in the guidance for applicants, you can find the type of data set that they will provide for all the solutions to make the pilot. So basically what we want to, this was basically the acceleration program, or what we call the acceleration program, and all the activities that you will be involved in. And basically regarding the timeline and application process, as mentioned by Antonio, this new, the second open call of the COVID-19 program will have 2 different stages. The first stage will end in just 9 days. So next week, the 22nd of July. And we expect to have all the evaluations prepared by the 6th of August in order to give you enough time to somehow prepare your second stage proposal, which will close the 16th of September at Brussels at 5 p.m. Brussels time. And we will also ask you to provide more information in this second stage. So the proposal will be extended, and you will also need to provide us with a slide deck of your solution and your project. And this, I gave you the floor for this slide, Antonio.
Thank you, Alberto. So the process to apply, again, is read carefully the open call application documents, which are available on the website, but also in F6S platform. If you go to F6S and look for COVID-19, open your form and the links will be there, and then submit until 5 p.m. on July 21st. So we ask you carefully to review your application after submission. Make sure that the documents you have uploaded are correct, because some of the teams did not do that and they ran into trouble. And if you do have any question, if you need to reopen your application, please send an email to support@fsuccess.com. This email is in the guideline for applicants, and my colleagues will reopen the application for you. You will be able to update the application, the documents, whatever, but be sure that you submit it before the deadline. So don't leave this to the last moment, because if you do that, you may not have time to update your application. So in terms of project implementation, we keep having these questions. This is just to clarify for all of you. So for COVID-X and a lot of acceleration programs run by these types of projects for the Commission, we are focused on results, okay? And the payments are made based on your ability to achieve the results, okay? You will need to deliver the results promised in your proposal in the time frame of the project. And as Alberto mentioned, we have 3 sprints and concrete results to achieve on each sprint, and with the quality that you propose. On our side, we will give you mentoring. We will help you define KPIs to monitor your progress. And we have the business services mentioned by Alberto. So this was the end of the presentation. I think that now we have a number of questions. I have already opened the floor for the persons that put the question. So Rafael is asking if for team applications, can healthcare providers be another SME? Yeah, okay, so let's go back to this slide where we define the healthcare providers. So healthcare providers can be any type of institution that provides care to patients or to the general population. So they can be SMEs, non-profit organizations, whatever, as long as they provide healthcare to the population. Okay? So this is actually the point 4 of your question. Non-professional association clinic chain, yes, they can be a healthcare provider. Question 2 and question 2. So we are only supporting one SME, but we don't care if you partner with another one. But for the project, we will fund one SME with 100,000 euros, and we request you to deliver the results. We will not ask you how you spend your money, okay? So if you want to have someone else working with you, just be probably clear on the mostly in the second stage application, where we will assess the team and your capacity to deliver the results. Alberto, did I miss anything on this question? Do you want to add anything else here? Question of Rafael.
Yeah, yes, that in the team solutions, we are looking for a consortium made by one SME or a startup and one clinical partner. So not 2 SMEs or 2 startups are allowed to apply.
Rafael, is this answer clear for your question? Do you want to have?
Yeah, that was quite clear. I only have like one clarification. So in the team application, we do not collaborate with the university. So that's from Sweden, Spain, and Italy.
Yes, exactly. So in the team application, you don't collaborate with our clinical partners, only with your clinical partner.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Bevagani. I hope I said your name correct. So let's to help answer your question, let me open the technical annex, which is here. Okay. So in the technical annex, what we ask you to describe is, first of all, the problem, solution, the novelty in one page. I think it's one page. It's written here, one page. And then the technology, your approach, how does it work? So as this part of the text, you can delete it. It's just for your guidance, what we expect to have in each of these sections of the form. Business impact, but I wanted to come to these sections, to critical sections here, medical device regulation, and afterwards TRL and CE marking. So if we will follow to the letter these guidance documents from the European Commission in the classification of software as a medical device, okay? It is critical for this assessment that you describe the intended use of your product. And by describing this, and of course the rest of the information provided above, such as technology, problem, solution, and so on, you will be able to follow these guidance documents and classify your solution in terms of medical device regulation. So it can either be out of scope of the medical device regulation, but please be clear on the reasons that you are stating to consider it out of scope of CE marking. If it's in the scope, then you need to let us know which level of classification you have, either 1, 2A, or 2B. It really depends on your solution. So this is one part. If, again, you think that your solution does not fall in the scope of medical device regulation, be clear here on the reasons why you think it's not in the scope of medical device regulation. The second part is the TRL. So again, go to the guideline for applicants. I can switch to it now. There is a whole table here on describing the different TRL levels. The first column is the definition from the Commission. The second one is the industry practice or industry consideration on what is it that a solution needs to have, or the properties of solution to be at different TRLs. So in this 6.1, question 6.1, please clarify and justify your assessment, the assessment of your solution. And then in the next two questions, which is again related with the CE marking, but also the TRL of your solution, you need to state if you have, if your solution is in the scope of medical device regulation, you need to have a quality management system. It does not need to be certified, but it does need to exist. So let us know how you manage quality in your company and in relation with this product. And if, again, you are in the scope of the medical device regulation, please let us know the status of your CE marking for your product. It actually mentions CE/UE because the regulation foresees a 5-year period. If you have CE marking, you will not need to recertify for a period of 5 years. So that's why we say here CE/UE marking. Albert, do you have anything on this? Did I answer your question? Vagani, there are lots of
Vincenzo here. Thanks a lot. This totally answered my question. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So if there are, Alberto, can you help me with the questions, please?
Yeah. So there is another question from Marco that says that they have two clinical partners. That one is collaborating with another one, and they can provide useful COVID data for the project. Will this case qualify for COVID-X? Is there a restriction on the number of clinical partners? Yes, we do have a restriction for team solution for one SME and one, or a startup and one clinical partner. So only two companies only two companies can form the consortium base. There is another question here related with the payments. So payments are based on results, but when does the first payment take place? So basically, you will receive more information about the payments once you are in the project, but basically the first payment will be delivered once we receive the first deliverable, which is the KPIs definition, and then you will receive 3 different installments after the evaluation review of your work during the 3 different sprints. Yeah. So if one of the 2 SMEs are a well-being clinic, then such consortium is lowered under team player. So the definition of a clinical partner has been already defined. Basically, we do, well, actually, we need more information about what is a well-being clinic, but as long as they provide healthcare services for the population, it will qualify as an eligible clinical partner for the project. Yes, the video will be recorded in the YouTube channel. And then we have another question here.
So while Albert is reading, may I suggest that if you have any further questions, please raise your hand, and we will give you the floor to make this more interactive rather than just as reading the chat. So there is a question from Marco. No, it's not that one.
No, this has been ready. So.
Yeah. So there was another question about matchmaking with the clinical partners. We do have a LinkedIn group where we support, or we welcome everyone in stating that they are available to work. I think Blanca typically posts this here. There it is, the link. So if you do have further questions, can you please raise your hand and we will give you the floor. So there is someone, could a solution address 2 challenges? This is actually one of the major points of concern or discussion for us in the first call. You can, but we are not sure that you should. But if you can, just select the primary one in the form and let us know which is the second one that you are addressing. Correct, Albert?
Yeah. So it is better to focus just in one and be really good in one than just good in 2 of them, as the competition will be high.
So David is asking if there is any problem with companies more than 3 years old. Not at all. So are there any other questions from the crew? Yes, there is one from Stella. Stella, good morning, please. You have the floor.
You are muted, actually.
Okay. Must the equipment be manufactured in the EU? Can you hear me? I've asked the question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so the equipment does not need to be manufactured in the EU, but it needs to have CE marking in order to be used in EU and follow all the market rules of introducing medical devices in EU. Does this clarify your question?
Sorry, I can't cut off.
I didn't understand. Is this clear for you, Stella? Do you have any follow-up question?
Sorry, I can't hear.
Robert, can you just yes or no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Stella, the issue with the devices, as with software, is if you want to introduce a medical device in EU, there are a number of regulatory constraints that the manufacturer and the importer need to address in order to be able to commercialize them in EU. So as long as these devices are compliant with EU regulation, they don't need to be manufactured in Europe. Is this clear?
Yes, thank you. I'll check the compliance details in order. Thank you. Over.
Thank you. So do we have any other questions?
Yes, I have one. I'm sharing a link, a potential university partner, and we want to check if they can be eligible for the team application. So just like share into the chat here.
Again, if they provide healthcare, they can. If they don't, if it's just a research organization, typically they will not be eligible. But we don't have the full picture now, so it's quite hard to answer your question.
Mm-hmm. Can we verify this? Let's say form by sending you the link to the website, or just like to verify before you go through the whole process with them?
We typically don't do one-on-one validation, okay? And the reason for that and for this entire program is that, or programs, is that we need to have the full picture before providing an assessment. So it might not be fair for you if based on a limited information we say yes or no, and which is something that you can justify on your proposal. So in principle, this is the criteria that we are going to use to verify if healthcare provider is indeed eligible to participate or not. So if you find a reason to consider that they are providing healthcare for the population, they are eligible.
Mm-hmm. Is it possible if the the partner we chose for the team application will not be found eligible, then we can revert back to the single application?
We actually had that in the past, so it's possible, but we need to figure out.
But when you are submitting your proposal in the forms, you need to select from team player to single player. So if you are applying as a team player, you don't need to select a challenge from the single players, and you don't even need to select a challenge or a clinical partner, which is what we have stated in the guidelines for applicants. So if you are applying as a single player, you will need to validate your solution in our clinical partner premises. So if you are not sure if your partner qualifies as a clinical partner, I would advise you to apply as a single player and try to identify data sets and challenges that are met or that are or that have been stated by our clinical partners.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so any other questions? Anything we may have missed in the chat or in the Q&A boxes? Just give you a couple of more minutes to think about it. Roberto, any final comments for the teams?
We have another question, which is Tunisian startups can apply. And I think yes, as far as you are an associated country. So we are funding Horizon 2020 and associated countries, eligible countries and associated countries. Okay, we have more questions here, I think.
Okay, so Vangelis, you can speak, you can have the floor. But CE marking process, you need to let us know that you are aware of these steps. And if it is the case that you need to send your solution to a notified body to get clearance, please let us know in which state you are, okay? This is the part of the call that says close to FC marking. It's critical for us if we understand that your solution is in the scope of the medical device software or regulation, and you are already following the path for certification. So please be clear about that in your application. It will really help us in assessing, in making a fair assessment of your solution, okay? Does this answer your question, Vangelis?
Okay.
And again, how many projects that are open call to can fund? So this is the numbers were provided here. So our target is to fund 7 single solutions and 7 team solutions. Okay, like I said, if we have a huge unbalance in terms of quality between single solutions and team solutions, we may decide on other numbers, which is already stated in the guideline for applicants. Okay, so, but let's say if the quality of the projects is balanced, we will fund 7 on each side. So one of the, this was not mentioned, but it's already in the guideline for applicants. Our goal is to help you reach the market as soon as possible, and not only by the end of the program. So we actually have some events hosted by the Commission and by other partners where we will showcase your solutions. So for example, we have scheduled for September presenting 2-3 projects that we think that are very interesting from the first open call to the Commission, and if they think that the projects are really as good as we think they are, they again will help you reach out the market sooner. So this is another fringe benefit of the project. So from my side, I would urge you to go through the application process and try to submit as soon as possible so that you have time to check your application and reopen it if you need to update any information, any documents, whatever. Alberto, do you have any information?
No,
so,
I'm just checking the success rates for single and team solutions of the first call, although these numbers are not, well, does not represent the success rate that will be following in second open call. So for the single solution, the success rate was 5%, and for team solution was 24%. Although we had different numbers in terms of companies to be funded under each of the schemes.
Yeah, but these success rates have different readings, because out of the, as Alberto mentioned, the 5%, I would say that more than half of the teams did not go through the guideline for applicants, and actually did some silly mistakes in the application. So the success rate is directly linked to a proper preparation of your application,
the quality of your proposal.
Yeah, and it will change. That's why we have clarified the guidelines for applicants and increased the number of webinars in this call, to make sure that we help you as much as possible in applying with good proposals. Correct, Alberto?
Yeah.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, the slides and the recording will be available later today. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you, Blanca, and have a good day all.
Thank you, and good luck with your application.